Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we are talking about the biggest block to reprogramming your subconscious. Now, if you're new to this content and you want more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that subscribe button. It's gonna let you know when I release new videos. And if you like this video, a great way to support this channel and let me know you like this content is simply by clicking that like button. So let's get back to the video. The biggest block in reprogramming your subconscious. First, let's look at how your brain is actually programmed. The biggest part about this is brainwave. So right now we're in beta brainwave. When you're really stressed out, maybe someone cuts you off on the freeway or something like that. It's a higher state of stress. That's called high beta. Now, right now, our brain is active, we're learning, things are going and moving. Our brain waves are going pretty quickly, that's beta. Now, if you go a little bit lower, maybe you're watching TV, you're relaxing, getting a massage, that would be alpha brainwave. And lower than that, right before you're going to sleep, the twilight kind of dreamy realm is called theta. When you're actually asleep, delta. Those are the most common brainwaves that we experience. So theta is actually the gateway or the language, that level of brainwave in which you can communicate to your subconscious. Now, why this is important is because when you're in the last trimester of your biological mother until 7 years old, you are actually mostly in theta. What does that mean? Whatever you were witnessing, whatever you were being told, whatever you were being taught was going straight into your subconscious. Now, when you got older, you could reason a bit more. You could use pre-existing experiences to kind of see what you thought about that. But early on, between 0 and 7 years old, you didn't have that luxury. So literally, whatever you experienced, whoever you were around, whatever authoritative figure or just situations that you saw, you basically stored it to be true. So you have these things called implicit memories. That means it's something that you act out of and you're unaware of the actual memory that's making you respond that way. So some helpful things would be of the procedural realm, meaning that you can get home and you're really not aware of what's happening, but inside of your brain, subconsciously, you know it. Your memory is right on. So you also have potentially something negative that happened, and you in your adult life might have an implicit memory that you're not aware of. You don't know what the root is, but you walk away from a situation like, what just happened? Why did I act like that? What just came up inside of me? So you're having these external actions, you're having these situations in the world, but really not knowing why you're acting that way, because you have a program, a belief, a perception of how the world is, and you're reacting based on that. The less you're aware of why you do what you do, the more you will live at the mercy of those unconscious programs. So now that you know that the main part of your programming happened at a young age, you basically had a thought, you saw it to be true, somebody told you something, that thought, you repeat it over and over and over and over, never questioning it because you didn't know. You reasoned on it as a child. What you don't understand is that you haven't re-reasoned as an adult. So you keep using that structure, that thought, and you hold it to be true. So that thought over and over and over and over and over has created a belief. Now, there's so many different things you can have beliefs about. There's so many thoughts you have in the world. We think about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And unless you're doing serious work on yourself, 90% of the thoughts you think today were the ones that you thought yesterday. So you just keep recreating your past into your future. Now, when you have a thought and a thought, it creates a belief. Beliefs repeated over and over again, those are perceptions. That's how you see the world. You have those thoughts repeated over and over, and it essentially creates a lens that you see the world through. Then your things like your reticular activating system, which is a filtration system in your brain, sees the world, allows your senses to perceive only of what you think to be true. So one way to see the RAS in action is actually when you're maybe looking for a new car, or you really like a new car, or you like a new pair of shoes or something like that. You start to become aware of it, and as you look into the world, you're seeing it more and more and more. Originally, I thought, what a coincidence. I'm starting to see all these cars that are just like mine, but really they've always been there. I'm just now aware, and I'm allowing my perception to expand so that I can actually perceive with my senses, with my eyes, of what is there. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your brain. And just because your brain is filtering out something, it does not negate its actual existence. The other thing it does is actually creates confirmation bias. You think that people treat you a certain way, or maybe you're not good enough, or maybe no one listens to you, and you actually will have confirmation bias. You'll look for different things to perpetuate the way that you feel and prove who who it is that you think you are about yourself to be true. You're confirming who it is that you think you are. Though that goes back to your self-image, the image and the concept that you have about yourself. And from Neville Goddard's teachings, we know that whatever the assumptions, which is the permission and the consent that you allow to be true, is what makes up your self-concept. And again, these all happen from most likely when you were younger. So you've got all these things, you've had all these experiences, you're like, oh my gosh, I have these implicit memories, I want to change my life. Now it's the adult you, and you want to make a change. Well, by the time you're 35 years old, only 5% of your conscious brain is actually in control of day-to-day life. 95% is your subconscious in control, meaning 95% of your life is run on those old programs. Well, how do you become aware of something you're not aware of? Well, that's when it gets tricky, because you must get into your subconscious. And again, how do you do that? Because it's in your subconscious, and your conscious and your subconscious are not the same. They're on literally different brain waves. So the one thing that we know, according to Neville Goddard, is the feeling is the secret. Now, studying more of his work, my interpretation of this right now and why the feeling is the secret is because you can think all day long the good things you want in life, the financial abundance you want, the dream relationship, who it is that you are in the world, that leadership role, whatever it is. You can think and think and think and think, but it won't actually change anything, because that's only the 5% of your conscious brain that you're trying to move the needle on for 95%. So how do you do it? Well, the secret is the feeling. The feeling encodes that thought with a feeling, and only through feeling can you impress into your subconscious. And when you impress into your subconscious, you make an impression that now has influenced your subconscious through feelings. You have a thought, you wrap it up in a feeling, and that now has the ability to penetrate into the subconscious. Now you have a chance of actually changing it. But what can block you at this point? So the biggest block that, you're moving through this, you understand conceptually how this works and that you need that feeling. Well, the one thing that can block you is a doubt. And why? Well, the etymology of the word doubt actually comes from the original meaning to hesitate, to waver in opinion. And what do we know from Dr. Joe Dispenza and Neville Goddard and many other spiritual teachers? You don't get a reflection in the world of who it is that you want to be. You always get a reflection in the world of who it is that you're being. How you're thinking and how you're feeling is your state of being, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza. So when you're sending out that electromagnetic signature, and essentially that's the order form you're giving to the universe, the channel of you, the version of you that you're picking out from the quantum field based on thinking and feeling, you're going to get a reflection of who it is that you are being. So if you're trying to change something in your life right now, you're trying to change those subconscious programs, and you continually have these doubts begin to disturb that new seed you planted. We talked about earlier, you have a thought, you encode it with Neville Goddard's The Feeling is a Secret technique, and you you plant it in your subconscious. Well, when those doubts come in, they disturb those seeds. If you just had a new garden, you planted all those new seeds, you're like, oh my gosh, is it working? I can't see my harvest yet. What am I going to do? You know what? I'm going to dig it up. I'm going to dig it up to make sure that everything is okay. We already know you're going to completely ruin all the work that you just did, because that precious seed needs time, space, and nourishment to grow. Just the same as your new ideas of who you are being, the new assumptions, they need to be planted and acted upon, that one day they will flourish. That right now you have a bountiful crop, you have a big harvest before you ever see those seeds sprouting up and giving you that fruit, giving you those vegetables. So even though conceptually you know the structure of this, the one thing that can stand in your way and block all the work you're doing is when you allow the doubt to interrupt the faith that you have, to interrupt the feelings that you have, because it knocks you off. If you're feeling doubtful, you're feeling scared, you're feeling fear, that is a different vibration, that is a different frequency than assuming the wish to be filled, than assuming and living in the end right now. It literally takes you to a different reality of you, which is essentially you'd be on one road heading to the beautiful mountains in the snow, But when you have that doubt, suddenly you're headed to the desert or something like that, where it's not a matter of a slight shift, it is a completely different reality. So doubts are more powerful. When they come and go, you take the opportunity and you get back in alignment. You have faith and trust and assume that wish is already fulfilled and that version of you is who you are right now. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.